A is level. Binomial theorem. Exam preparation examples, part 1. You will find this in the Mathematics Grade 12 AS-Level textbook Y equals mx plus c to success, and you will find it from page 78. But before we start with an example, let's just look at in general, we have the binomial theorem. Okay, so we have a bracket and then we have to the power of n. But before I'm explaining this to you, I want to first show you this general term. So let's just put the general term there. So if it's n over r, then we're going to say a, we take the first one, and we say n minus r. That's what stands there, n minus r. And then we take the second one, b, and we just take that one. So for the first one, we subtract the top minus the bottom, and for the second one, we just take the bottom. So keep that in mind. And now I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to show you how I came to this, or how they came to that. Okay, so remember your bracket is a plus b to the power n. Okay, so I said for the first one, so if you start and you say n0, because you always start n0, then you go n1, n2, so on, so forth. Okay, so you take the first term and you say the top minus the bottom, so n minus 0. And you take the second term, there's the second term, and you just take the bottom. Okay, now if I simplify this, I get n0 and I get a, and that's just to the power of n. And anything to the power of 0 is 1. And that is why this will be. That's why the second term in that bracket will actually just become 1. Okay, and it's not appearing in that. So remember that. So note that since n0 is both 1 and in n. So for the last one, so that's the general term, the last one. Can I just show you that last one again? Why there's only a b? Because the rest, it's making sense. Okay, maybe I'll first go to the rest. So this is n1, so it's a, the first term, n, top minus bottom, b, just the bottom. And then this one. So n2, so it's a, n minus 2, b, just the bottom 2. Okay, but can I just show you the last one again? Why there's not an a? So if you go and you say n, okay, and then I'm going to say, okay, so now I take the first term, which is a, and I say n minus n, and I take the second term, which is b, and I'm just going to take the bottom one, n. So this is going to be n, okay, and this is going to be a to the power 0, bn, and that becomes 1. So n, the last term, will just be the second term to the bottom, and that's there. Okay, I just explained that but the most important thing is that you've remembered this general term. Okay, n0 is 1 and nn, where I end with, is 1. It depends on, I'll come now and I put a 5 or a 6, and then usually the brackets, this formulas make more sense. Okay. I also just want you to know, when a is 1, so when the first term is 1 and it's x, then you can actually simplify. It's like a special case, and I'll show you when it comes up. So then it's going to be 1, and it's due to that, which I explained here. But the first one will just be 1, and the second one will n1, and it will just be x to the power of 1. Then n2, because that 1 will make all the terms 1, and that is the reason why. But I'll show it to you. I'm going to do the long way, and then I'll show you also why I showed you this special case. Okay. The binomial theorem is in this new curriculum. They put it in, and in the beginning it can look very challenging, and that is why I want to refer you to a specific example in the textbook. So it will be very good that before you look at this exam example, that you first go to the textbook on page 85 and you look at example 43, and you're going to see, and I'm going to do it with all the examples here. I refer you to the textbook, and please go and work it out before you tackle this. Okay. Otherwise, I think you will follow if I showed you, because it's more or less the same if you don't have a textbook. Okay. I'm going to start with example 1. Find the first 3 terms in the expansion in ascending powers of x. And now it's that 1. Do you see that? Okay. Now, I showed you the short one, but I'm first going to show you the long one. And then I'll show you why I came to the special case. So, say for example, you had an example, and it was, let's just do that. This is now number A. Now I'm explaining to you the special case. Okay. And if I ask you for the first 3 terms, then it's going to be, now remember, we start out always with 5, 0. Okay. Then we take the first term, I'm now with the general, and we say 5 top minus bottom minus 0. And we take the second term, which is x. Okay. I'm just going to do it here. And we just take to that 0. Okay, that's for the first one. The second one, I'm going to be 5, 1, and I'm just showing you why I can use that special case. So I take my first term, and I say 5 minus 1. And I take my, okay, I'm going to make it longer. I'll come back. And I'll take my second term, which is x, in the bracket, and I just take to the bottom 1. And then I'm going to say 5, 2. I take my first term, and I say 5 minus 2, and I take my second term just to the bottom, just to the power of 2. Now, if I simplify this, and now it will make more sense to you. I want to reflect to this one. Now, how do I press it on the calculator? Remember, you press 5, you look for that key, NCR, press it. So, press on your calculator for this one, 5, NCR 0. And if you do that on your calculator, and you will see it's there in the top, NCR, and you say 0, you're going to get 1. Okay, so you're going to get here, oh, let's just get the pen. You're going to get 1 for that. This is 1 to the power of 5, which is also 1. And this is x to the power of 0, which is also 1. Okay, I'll show you now my short way. Okay, now press 5, and then you press that NCR, just like I press there, NCR, and then I press 1. And what do I get now? I get 5. Okay, now 1 to the power anything will always be 1, and then it will just be x. Okay, and then if I do this, press again 5, NCR, and then press 2, and you will get 10. My pen again. Then 1 to the power anything will just be 1, and this will be x2. So basically, this was just 1. It's due to that one. It's all about that one. And this was 5x, and this was 10x squared. If I really use the formula, and you can, but I just showed you the short way and this special case, which I said, you can, because of that, you can basically just say, I know that this will become 1. And then I say 5, 1. I know that the first term will become 1, and I will just say x to the power of 1. So I'm writing only that part. And then I'm writing the 5 and the 2. I know that the first term will become 1, but I know, and this is x2. And then I'm writing this. So this is going to be 1, and if I simplify 5x plus 10x. So just remember the short way. If only if the first inside the bracket is 1. But you can do the long way also. Okay. Now, find the first three terms in the in ascending powers. And now again it's 1. And I want you now to get used to this special case because it's going to spare you time. And the AS level question papers is very long and you really want to spare time. So you know that the first term will be 1. But that was 6, 0. Remember. So now you go to 6, 1. And you know it's just the second term to that 1. And then you go 6, 2, and it's just a sec, and grab that negative sign always, and that's to the power of 2. And then I can simplify. Use your calculator. Say 6, I'm saying NCR, and then 1. And what are you going to get? So if you press 6, NCR 1, and that is going to give you a 6. Remember, it's actually going to say, just going to put in this one. So it's going to be 6, but then you multiply with that negative 2x, and that's why it's negative 12x. Okay, and if you say 6 NCR 2, what are you going to get? You are going to get actually 15, and then you're going to say negative 2, so it's going to be 4, and it's going to be x squared, and if you multiply, you get that. Okay, and now we can move on. Now, remember, when they use the word henge, they always want you to use the previous example. So they want you to use the answers of A and the answers of B. Because if you see the connection, can you see? There is x to the power of 5, and you already have the first three terms. There is x to the power of, let's just make another color. There is to the power of 6, and you have that three terms. So basically, you're just going to, it's almost like they were helping you because they just want the coefficient of x squared. And you can get that by just having you don't have to work all that terms out, just the first three, and the first three will help you. And that's what I showed you here. So basically, I just write the first three terms, and it doesn't matter what colors. There's my first three, and then there is my 3. Okay, and then you must just multiply the ones out. That will give you x to the power of 2. Okay, let's just make it another color. X to the power of 2. So let's just think. 1, if I take 1, and I'm going to, and it seems to me I'm short. Oh, here it is. It's here on top. So if I take 1 and I multiply it, so it's that one I showed you there. Do you see? Then you get 60x squared. Then if I take this 5x and I multiply it with another x, so 12x, do you see? It's that arrow I showed you there. Okay, that was that arrow I showed you there. Okay, and then I get negative. And then the last one that will give me an x squared is if I take this one and I multiply it with the 1, and that will be 10x squared. Okay, and then I simplify and I'm just getting 10x squared. But read the question. What was the question? They didn't want 10x squared. They say, find the coefficient. That's the value in front of x squared. So end nicely by saying the coefficient of x squared is 10. As easy as that. Okay, so this is the one way they like asking it. And now we come to the examples. Oh, it's actually quite a lot of examples. Again, I want you to do it like this. I want you to do one, stop the video, check if you are correct. Do another one, stop the video, check if you are correct until you did all the examples. Okay, but let's start with number 1. Number 1. Find the first three terms in the expansion of as ascending powers of x. Now be careful. Now they started with a 3, so I will just go to the general formula. Okay, so if I go to the general, and I'm just going to make it a bit smaller, and I write a few things out so that I don't make mistakes. Don't like making mistakes. Okay, so what is the bracket? So it's 3 minus 2x. And that's to the power of 5. Okay, they just want the first three terms. Okay, so remember, it's that 5, 0. Take the first term and say top minus bottom, 5 minus 0. take the second term. Please remember to grab that negative sign and just say to the bottom. That's going to be your first. Okay. Then I'm just going to go on and say plus. And then I go for this, and now it's a 1. So take my first term, top minus bottom. Then take my second term and just say bottom. And then I go for my last one. So plus, and now it's 5, 2. You will go until 5, 5, but they just want the first 3. So I take my first term, top minus bottom, top, bottom. And then my second one, grab that sign. And just that. And now I just simplify. And please, just use your calculator. So this is going to be 1. This is going to be 3 to the power of 5, which is 2, 4, 3. This is going to be 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay. Then I'm going to, this 5, press that in NCR 1. And what are you going to get? You're going to get 5. And then you're going to get 3 to the power of 4, and that's 81. And now, keep that sign. That is going to be negative 2x. I prefer rather to write a few steps, especially for the videos. And then, I'm going to say 5, NCR, 2, and what am I going to get? 10. And then, I'm going to get 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. And then, negative 2x times negative 2x is 4x squared. And now I'm just going to simplify. So this is going to be 243. This is going to be negative 810x. And this is going to be positive 1080x squared. And it's continuing. I can show it that like that. Okay, there's my first 3 terms. Now I go on. Hence, find the coefficient of x squared in the expansion. Okay, so let's just, it's again hence, so you're going to use A. Let's just see that bracket. I already have that bracket. Now that bracket is just to the power of 2, so I can just multiply it out. So let's just start. I'm just going to say, I first write the brackets out. So if I have 4 plus, and I do the short way because we are on AS, I think short ways help you a lot. Okay, I'll show you. So I'm first going to do this bracket. I'm going to multiply out. Okay, it's just normal like I did in ordinary level. So I'm just going to say 4 times 4 is 16. Now remember the short way. I say the first term, multiply the second, multiply 2. So it's 4x times 2, so that is going to be 8x. And then I'm going to say the last one, and I'm going to square. So x times x is x squared. And now I have this first 3 terms, and I can even, I'm going to even change the color here. So it's 2, 4, 3. So they actually helped you by showing you don't need more than 3. Sometimes they're not so nice and you have to put in a little bit more thinking. But for this, they were nice. Okay. Now, what is the question? Let's just go back to the question. I want the expansion of x squared. So I will just look for that will give me x squared. So let's start with the first one. If I take 16 and I multiply it with this one, I will get x squared. If I take 8x and I multiply it with this one, I will get x squared. And if I take x squared and I multiply it with this one, I will x squared. So I'm trying to get all my x squares. So let's just start. 16 times this one, it's going to be a big number. It's 17280 x squared. So, okay, that one I did. Now, 8x multiply negative 810x, that's going to be negative 6480x squared. And then, if I multiply this was that one. If I multiply this one, it's going to be 243x squared plus 1, 2, 3. And now I'm just going to add and subtract all the coefficients, and I'm getting 11043 x squared. So I end up by saying, therefore, the coefficient of x squared is 11043. And that's how I do question number 1. Really not that difficult. Okay, let's start with question number 2. Okay, let's start with example 2. In the binomial expansion of, there's the expansion, the first 3 terms are this. Find the remaining 3 terms of the expansion. This is very interesting. Okay, so this is my bracket now. It's just that first where you're going to write it that maybe can, okay. So if you want, you can just remember the first 3 terms will be 5, 0, okay, and then 5, 1, and then 5, 2. But you already have that. So the next 3 terms will be 5, 3. Okay, so remember, although it's the 4th term, it's always 1 minus the term. So that number is always the term minus 1. Okay, but I take the first bracket and top minus bottom. I take the second bracket. Please don't forget your sign. Grab that sign and just that. Okay, then I go on and I'm going to say then 5 for the first term, top minus bottom, then the second term, bottom. Okay, and then the final one, 5, 5. The first term, top minus bottom, and then the second term, just the bottom. Okay, and now I'm just going to work it out. Just want to move a little bit. Okay, so if I work it out, and the first one, I'm just going to get 5, and remember your NCL, so it's 5 NCR, and then 3, and what do you get? You get 10. I just want to write it down. You get 10. Then this is going to be 2 to the power, this is going to be to the power of 2. So then it's going to be 4x squared. This is to the power of 3. So that's why there's 3 negative signs. So that's why there's a negative. If it's odd, then it's negative. If it's even, then it's positive if there's negative signs. Can I just, it's so stupid, but it's just negative, multiply negative, multiply negative. That's an odd amount. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Then it's just going to be 1. And this is 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And then it's x to the power of 3. Okay. And then this one, press again, 5, NCR, 4. And what are you going to get? You are going to get 5. Okay. Now, this is to the power 1. So it's going to be 2x. This is to the power 4. So there's now an extra 1. So that's why it's positive. Then it's 1 over 2 to the power of 4 is 16x to the power of 4. Okay. And then the final one, then 5, NCR 5, it's going to be 1. This is to the power of 0, so this is going to be 1. This is 5 negative signs, so it's an odd, so it's negative. Then 1. 2 to the power of 5 is 32. And then x to the power of 5. Okay, and now I can simplify them. And if I simplify them, I'm just going to get now, okay, so it's going to be 10 times 4, it's 40, divide by 8, so it's going to be, and it's a negative, 5, and remember that 2, and there will just be an x. So 2 is at the top, 3 at the bottom, but there's 1 at the bottom left. Okay, then it's going to be 5 times 2, so it's 10 over 16, so it's going to be 5 if I simplify it, 5 over 8. And again, 1 on top, 4, but it's x to the power 3. Just make it longer. And then the final one, and it's not a positive. It's usually, if it's like, then one is positive, one is negative, if it starts with negative, or the same. Okay, so it's making turns. So this is going to be 1 over 32, and it's x to the power of 5. Okay, so that's the next 3 terms. Okay, now we go on. Hence, find the coefficient of x in the expansion. Okay, now see what they wrote. So in number B, first write down the bracket. I want to use another color. It's rather use, I'll bring red now in. Okay, so it's going to be 1, and they're not having a power. That's nice. So it's just this bracket, and then it's this bracket. So that's why they say hence again, because I'm going to use this. And don't go write all this out now. So basically, I'm going to write everything out now. So I'm going to say 1 plus 4x squared. I have the first 3 terms of the green. Write the first 3 terms out. They gave it there to me. There it is. So it's going to be 32 x to the power of 5 minus 40 x to the power of 3 plus 20x. That's what they gave me. And now I'm going on with mine. Can you see how the negative and the positive is making turns? Then it's going to be negative 5 over x plus 5 over 8 x to the power of 3 minus 1 over 32 x to the power of 5. Okay, and now I'm reading the question. What do they want? They say, where am I? Hence find the coefficient of x. So they just want x. So I must now see, what will I multiply to get only x? Oh, I can see already 1. If I multiply this, I will only get x. But now I have to think of cancelling out. So if I multiply this one with this one, then the 2 will cancel with that, and it will just be x. From there, it will not work. So basically, they did let me do all this trouble. So I need one of this free, one of this free. So if I multiply this bracket, I'm going to get 20x. And if I multiply this bracket, I'm going to get negative 20x. And that is going to give me 0x. So therefore, the coefficient of x is 0. And that's how you do number 2. Let's go to number 3. Let's start with number 3. Write down the first 4 terms of the expansion in ascending powers of x of this. Okay, so let's start. Number A. So it's going to be a minus x to the power of 6. So the first term will be 6, 0. Then the first, and then it's 6 minus 0, top minus bottom. Grab that sign, 0. Plus, then the second one, 6, 1. Then a, and top minus bottom, 6 minus 1. And then negative x, and that's to the power 1. Okay, let's just make space. And then 6, 2, and then a, 6 minus 2, and then negative x to the power 2. And then 6, 3, a, 6 minus 3, and negative x to the power of 3. And it actually goes on. Okay, if I simplify this, I'm just going to, this is going to be 1. This is going to be a to the power of 6. And this is 1. Okay, and then I'm going to go to 6 and 1. And then just press it on your calculator. Remember again, 6 NCR 1. And that is going to be 6. and then it's a to the power of, I can actually write it already there, 5, and then it's going to be negative x plus, and then it's going to be 6 and 2, so just press 6, NCR2, and that's going to give you 15. I'm going to write this better, a to the power 4. A negative times a negative is a positive, so it's going to be x squared. And then 6 and 3, so 6 NCR3, and that's going to be 20, a to the power 3, and negative x to the power of 3, plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, then it's a to the power of 6, okay, sign, so negative 6a5x plus 15a4x squared, okay, sorry, minus 20a3x3 plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is the first 4 terms. Then we go on to number B. Given that the coefficient of x squared, okay, so you must give the coefficient of x squared, do you see there? In the expansion, okay, now check. So you see that that part is the same. And there comes a find the exact form the possible values of the, find in exact form the possible values of the constant a. Okay, so let's just start first with number B. So first always write down and start comparing. So the second bracket, you already worked out the first 4 terms. And it's actually a hint to help you. Okay, because it's just to x squared. So if I go and I write that in, so it's 1 plus 2ax, and I write the yellow, so it's a6 minus 6a5x plus 15a4 x squared, let's just go on, minus 20a3x3 plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, now if I start to multiply, now I must check what will give me a squared. So if I start here, okay, let's just see. So if I say 1, if I multiply this one, because remember I'm focusing on the x squared. But now, just remember, if I multiply this one, do you see this one? Then that 1x will cancel with, and that will also be x squared. So what will I get? I will get 15, I'm busy with this one, 15a4 x squared. And if I multiply this one, I will get negative, I'm just going to write it first like this, that you can see it. So negative 40 a3 x3, I'm just writing it out so that you can see the cancelling out. So then I'm going to end up with 15a, let's just go, 15a4 x squared minus 40 a squared x squared. Okay, now just because I want to take out, just take it out as a common factor, so just that you see. So it's 15a4 minus 48 squared, and that is x squared. Okay, now let's just read the question again. So given that the coefficient of x squared is negative 20, so I'm telling you that this coefficient is negative 20. Okay, so basically I can now go on and just say, okay, so 15a, I take that coefficient, and I know that it's equal to negative 20. And now I love how I love a good question. This is an excellent question because they combine now chapter 1, reducing to quadratic form. So this is basically coming now, reducing. This is an equation that can be reduced to quadratic form. So I'm going to simplify it now with that. I'm just taking it first over, and then I will start with my simplifying. Then I divide 5, so I get 3a to the power of 4 minus 8a squared plus 4, and that is equal to 0. Okay, and now I'm going to factorize it. So let's just see, it's 2 and 2 and 3 and 1. This is in group A. So it's going to be 6 plus 2, and that will 8. And the signs are the same, but both will be a what? Negative, negative. And I'll take this, so it's a squared, a squared. So basically, it's going to be 3a squared minus 2 and a squared minus 2, and that's 0. So let's just put both to 0. So 3a squared equals 2 and a squared equals 2. So a squared equals 2 over 3. 2 over 3. I will now take the square root. And okay, that one can already. So a, and don't forget your plus minus. So this is, and you can leave it like that. And a equals, and you can also, but just don't forget your plus minus, and 2. And that is your answers. So lovely how they combine chapter 2 with chapter 1. And that is example 3. Number 4. Expand, and then they give you this, in ascending powers of a up to and including a3. Okay, so let's just start there. So if it's going to be 1 plus a, and that's the vowel. And now I want to take you back to the previous page. And I just even have to move up a little bit. Remember this special case, and I want you to know if it starts inside the bracket with 1. Can you remember this? So basically it's 1 plus and then n over 1, and this is second 1 to 1, then 2. And I'm going to use it now because you can do the long way, but remember we try to save a little bit on time. So let's just do that. It's going to be 1 plus, that's going to be the first term, then it's going to be 5 and 1, and then it's a, and remember it's just the bottom, so plus 5 and 2, and then it's a, and it's 2, and it's going up in ascending, and then they want it up to a 3, so it's a 3 plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if I simplify this, this is 1, remember 5, press that NCR 1, and that's 5a, plus 5 NCR 2, that's going to be 10a squared, plus 5 NCR 3, also 10a to the power 3. Remember they said include that one. So that was number A. Now I go to number B. Hence, so they want me to use that answer. Okay, so this is very important. They want me to use A. And they start with a bracket like this. 1 plus x squared, close, and that will be to the power of 5. Okay, now I'm going to use, so basically, I'm going to use, because this is going to, so I'm going to rewrite it, and look how I rewrite it. Because this is A. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm actually rewriting it in that formula. So I'm going to say 1 plus 5, but in the place of A, I'm going to use this bracket. So in the place of that A, I'm using this bracket. Do you see that? So basically, because you see that was A. You see, can you see the resemblance? This was A, and now in the place of A, I just use the new bracket. So I'm going to say x plus x squared. And remember, I'm busy substituting there. So plus 10, do you see that? And that's going to be x plus x squared, and remember, it's squared, plus 10 x plus x squared, and that's going to be 3, and then plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm just going to now simplify as far as possible, but not everything. The whole time keep in mind what they say. including that expand, simplify, hence expand in ascending powers up to and including to x3. So they just wanted to the term x3. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to say 1. I'm going to simplify this. Where I can, I simplify. That's x squared. But now be careful here. So just going to write first and first square this bracket. So it's going to be x squared. Remember the short way that we do, we multiply with each other and we multiply by 2. So it's x to the power 3. So it's 2x to the power 3 plus x4. Okay, I multiply. Now, don't forget, if you 10, now this is free of this bracket. So you can basically see it as, do you see? Can I just show you? This is basically what I'm going to do now. So then it will be free. So I'm going to write x. It's not to say I'm going to multiply everything out. And now I'm going to write that x squared. I have the x squared. There is the x squared. Let me just get the pen. Okay, so the x squared will be x squared. So keep in mind that I'm busy with that. Okay, so it's going to be x squared plus 2x to the power 3 plus x to the power 4. Okay, plus da. Okay, let's go on. I'm trying to simplify still, and I see how far I must go with the other one, because it's to the power of x3. Okay, now I can multiply in here. So it's 10x squared plus 20x to the power of 3 plus 10x to the power of 4. Okay, now just be careful here. And I don't have to multiply all. So I just want to show you if it's 10. So if I'm going to multiply, the only one that will give me an x3, can I just want to use it in red? If I multiply that one, from there on it will be bigger. So it's only this first one that will be 10x to the power of 3. So in basically, if I multiply, I'm just not going to write the 10. I just want to show you. I'm just going to say, let's just quickly see. So this is going to be, okay, it was actually like this, 10. So this is going to be x3, so it's going to be 10 x to the power 3, but then it will basically but I still need that one. Do you see, of the x3? So now I can basically just simplify, and I'm going to say, okay, it's 1 plus, there's only this x, but there's a square and there's a square, so it's going to be 15x squared, and then there's a x3 and there's a x3, so it's going to be 30x to the power 3 plus and then it's bigger. Okay, and that's what they are asking me. They said, hence including x including 2x, simplify your answer. That's all they want. Okay. Oh, in the next video, I'm going to share a little bit with you for the teachers, a message. So look out for the next video. But for now, I just always want to end, and I'm making this video now on the end of the month. So it's maybe good that I just show you again the bookshops. I just want to get it bigger, where you can buy your own copy. And remember what I said. I'm referring, and all the basics is in the textbook. So just make sure that you get your own copy or a copy of the book, or borrow a copy of the book. I also donate a few to the Teachers Resource Center of Otjiwarongo. So go there and go and check it if you are in that area. But try to work as many as possible examples out. In the next video, I will share with the teachers how you can order the textbooks from the ministry to make sure that your students is having a copy for 2024.